So finding the length of a side using tangent. We're going to be using our calculator to actually figure out measurements. We're not just writing ratios, although that is the first step. We're going to use the calculator and get actual lengths. This has perhaps the most real-life application of any math you'll ever learn, because you can actually use this to measure how tall things are or whatever, and it does get used in real life. So we're going to apply the tangent ratio, which is what we were just talking about, opposite side over the adjacent side, to find out lengths. So here we have a problem set up. In order to meet safety guidelines, a roof contractor determines that she must place the base of her ladder 6 feet away from the house, making a 76-degree angle with the ground. To the nearest tenth of a foot, how far above the ground is the eave of the roof? So we've got a little picture here. Shows the ladder leaning against the house up to the eave of the roof, the top of the house, the corner of the house. And it says it makes a 76-degree angle. The ladder makes a 76-degree angle with the ground. So we have the actual real-life picture, but then simplify things, get rid of all of the house and the trees and the ladder, and just make it be a triangle. The ladder is a 76-degree angle with the ground, so we put a 76-degree angle right there. We also said that the base of the ladder was 6 feet from the side of the house, so you fill that in with 6 feet. And it wants to know how tall or how high is the house, basically, the eave of the roof. So that's going all the way up here. This is what we're trying to find. From the ground all the way up to the eave of the roof. So to figure that out, we have a right angle, because you don't live in a Leaning Tower of Pisa. Your house should make a 90-degree angle with the ground. So 90-degree angle, 76-degree angle over here. We've got the ratio. Here's our angle, which means go across, shoot out from the angle. You get x is the opposite side. So we have to write our ratio, tangent 76 degrees. We're going to fill in the actual degree there. Equals the opposite side, which is x, over the adjacent side, which is the one next to it, which is 6 feet. So we have our ratio. And now we need to solve this. So you need your calculator, because this tangent of 76 is just a decimal. It's a ratio. We just don't know what it is. It is programmed into your calculator, though. So make sure you are in degrees by checking your settings. The quick check to make sure is type in sine 30. If you get 0.5, you're good. If it's not, if you get some other answer there, you have to go to your settings and change it to degrees wherever it talks about angles. So in our problem, we have tangent 76 degrees. We need to know what that is. When we solve this, we have x over 6 equals tangent 76. So to solve this, to get x by itself, the only thing we have to do is get rid of this 6. You can always think of these as proportions, like you're going to cross multiply. So we're going to do 6 times tangent 76, whatever number that is, and that's going to equal 1 times x, which is just x. So our calculator knows what tangent of 76 is, and we just have to multiply it by 6 to get the correct answer. Our calculator knows that tangent of 76 is 4.0107, blah, blah, blah. So to finish off that problem, we have to multiply it by 6. 6 times tangent 76. So it's going to be 24 something. Oops. 6. 24.065. Read the directions to see what it asks you to round to the nearest tenth of a foot. So tenth of a foot, 24.1. So moving on to another example, we have a right triangle, the 54-degree angle. We want to do tangent of S, which is the 54-degree angle. So remember, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So when you take the length of the opposite side, imagine that angle is a wave that's going out to hit the 87. And then the adjacent side is the side that is between the angle and the right angle. So that's SU. We actually don't know the length of it. So we're just going to call it, we could call it SU. You could also just call it X. That would be okay as well. Now you could then solve this out and figure out what the length is, what X is, because angle S is 54 degrees. So that would be tangent 54 degrees equals 87 over X. So remember, these are always proportions. So you do tangent of 54 over 1 equals 87 over X, and then you cross multiply. So the X gets multiplied over here to the tangent. And then 1 times 87 is 87. So the final step then to finish this off, we're trying to get X by itself. You take whatever number this is, tangent 54, your calculator knows it, don't worry about it yet. We have to divide it, because that's just a number times X. If it was 4, that would be 4X. It's not 4, if it was. So whatever that number is, that's what we're dividing by. So in our calculator, all we need to know is 87 divided by tangent 54. $87 divided by. When you're doing division, I err on the side of using too many parentheses. So whenever you divide, always put parentheses there. Tangent 54. 87 divided by tangent 54. $63.209. It doesn't tell us what to round to, so let's just do 0.2. Round to the tenths. So we'll look at another ladder problem. These are pretty famous. A common way to use tangent. The ladder needs to reach the second story window, which is 10 feet above the ground, and make an angle with the ground of 70 degrees. How far out from the building does the base of the ladder need to be positioned? So draw yourself a triangle. There's the house, there's the ground. And there's my ladder. So it says the window is 10 feet above the ground, so that's 10 feet. And it has to make an angle of 70 degrees with the ground. So there's the ladder and the ground, 70 degrees. How far out from the building? So that would be this length right here. We have the building to the base of the ladder. So we'll call that x. When you go to solve it, we're going to write our ratio. So we have our angle here, opposite and adjacent. So we're writing tangent 70 degrees equals the opposite side, 10, over the adjacent side, x. And then to solve, you would cross multiply. Remember, that's always over 1. So you multiply 1 times 10 is 10. X times tangent is x times tangent 70. And to solve for x, you have to divide. Divide by tangent 70. So we just need to type that into our calculator. 10 divided by tangent 70. 10 divided by tangent 70. 3.64 about. Doesn't tell you how much to round, so let's just write that. X equals 3.64, and that would be in feet, because the other measurement was in feet. So the other thing that you can do with tangent, you can solve for sides like we've been doing, but you can also solve for the angle. So there's another function built into your calculator that's called the inverse tangent, which is this tangent with the -1. If you look at your calculator, it's normally just the small lettering right above the tangent button, tangent -1. To get to that function of that button, since it's up there in the yellow writing, you would push the yellow button in the corner. So I'll show you real quick. Shift, tangent, and you get that little tangent -1, the inverse tangent. So what the inverse tangent does is solves for the angle. You use that when you're trying to solve for an angle. So you use the regular tangent when you're solving for a side, and you use inverse tangent when you're solving for the angle. So to solve these, you're going to write your tangent ratio, and then you're going to write the inverse tangent equation, and then type that into your calculator. So what's the measure of angle A? So this is our angle right here at angle A. You need to know that so you know which side is opposite and which side's adjacent. So opposite, you follow the wave out to 19. So tangent A equals 19 over the adjacent side, 36. Then you change that tangent ratio that we just wrote into the inverse tangent equation. So you flip around the numbers basically. The A goes to the other side, and that 19 over 36 moves next to the tangent, but you have to put that little inverse notation. So you put the little inverse notation and you just switch around. You switch the a with the fraction. That's how you write it, and then that's how you type it into your calculator. So you do inverse tangent, parentheses, 19 over 36. So inverse tangent, parentheses, our sides were 19 over 36. 19 divided by 36. Close your parentheses. 27.824. Round to the nearest degree. So 27.824 is going to round up to 28 degrees. Round it up to 28. Do the same thing for angle B. Write your ratio. Tangent B equals, now we're looking at this angle up here. So the opposite side is now the 36. Over the adjacent side is 19. Remember we said all you have to do is flip the fraction. 19 over 36, 36 over 19. So when you convert that to an inverse tangent, you switch the fraction with the angle. 36 over 19 is going to equal B. So we need inverse tangent. Shift tangent. Then your parentheses, type in the fraction. 36 divided by 19. 62.176. Rounded to the nearest degree, we would round that down to 62 degrees. Now, applying what we know about triangles, this should make sense. We have a 28-degree angle and a 62-degree angle and a 90-degree angle. The three angles are supposed to add to 180, and they do. 90 plus, add those together, you get another 90. That's 180. So that should always check out, just to make sure that you don't get some weird answer for some strange reason. One more example to find the measure of the angle J. So we're taking this angle over here. So the opposite side, follow out the wave to 46. Tangent J equals opposite 46 over adjacent 93. Convert that to an inverse tangent. So the fraction goes here now, 46 over 93 equals J. (46 over 93). $26.318. And round to the nearest degree, just like before, that would just be 26 degrees.